How's it going, everybody? Delightful Eon here. And in this video, I wanted to talk about the highest ideal that a human could reach. You know, what is the highest moral perspective that a human being can have? And this is a very interesting topic. It's been debated by philosophers and sages and theologians and, even scientists for, really hundreds or if not thousands of years. So I think I wanted to, approach this question with the honesty and the due diligence and the respect that this question deserves, because it really is the most important question. What are we as humans? What is the highest ideal that we ourselves could reach? And I have kind of come to the conclusion, after thinking about these issues for, many years, that the highest ideal that humanity could reach, the highest ideal that an individual human could reach, would be to love everyone as if you could have been them. And I think this is different than a lot of people's perspectives, because my perspective on God is that we are all basically God. We are God evolving towards ourselves. You can go watch my most recent video on that where I explain that in more detail. But basically, the reason this system is infinitely loving is because by helping other people, you're actually also helping yourself. And, not to say that we should only help others when it benefits us, but this is to say that by helping others, we are also benefiting ourselves. And the reason is, if I help someone out and they become a stronger individual because of it, then what I've done is I've reinforced my future state, because if I ever need help in the future, I would rather have someone who is higher in moral character, someone who is stronger than they were yesterday, helping me. So in a way, by helping other people, you're also helping yourself, because the whole system is getting stronger. Everyone is getting better off. So that person's ability to help you in the future also grows. So that's what I really believe is the ideal, the highest moral character that humans could ever hope to possess, is to love everyone as if you could have been them. Because I think ultimately we really could have been anybody. I really believe that. We could have been anybody. And I also think this ties into the, moral character of really great people, because I think really great people, people who accomplish a lot, or people who are just generally very knowledgeable or honest in their perspective on the world, they recognize how much of our current situation is based on randomness. There's an element of choice here, but there's also an element of randomness. There's an element of the fact that while I do believe our higher self, our higher version of God, which we're constantly evolving towards God, but the possibilities are infinitely increasing, therefore there's always another version to increase to. That's kind of how I believe the system works. Again, you can watch my other video on that. But this is in a way the highest moral character that one could possess. The ability to recognize the randomness of the situation, but also the power that we as individuals have to help ourselves and others. Could there really be a higher state? Could there really be a higher ideal to ascribe to than the fact that recognize and love everyone as if you could have been them? Because you could have, It kind of ties in with treat others how you want to be treated, but it's a little bit different, because I think this way of saying it, love others as if you could have been them, kind of appreciates the randomness of the whole situation, the chaotic randomness, although seemingly it seems ordered, but I do believe there's elements of both order and chaos in our current state. But I believe that is one of the key principles that a human has to have. Another key principle I believe that is of the highest moral character humans could possess, or hope to possess, is basically an unbiased approach to life. And what I mean by that is that I don't really care. You see a lot of times in politics, people become obsessed with their proposed solution being the path that we take. And the problem that this causes is that people believe that, well, I'm proposing this solution, and even though it's clear that this solution isn't working, I'm going to double down on it because I want it to be my solution that solves the problem, or I just don't want to admit that I'm wrong. And this is why you see all of the various political debates and parties and various things like that. But I really believe that in a truly moral system, you would have a people of such sufficient moral character that they would recognize that it really doesn't matter if it's my solution or your solution or that cat's down the street solution, as long as it produces better results. You know? So that is what I believe is the highest moral ideal, an unbiased approach to reality, to the extent that fallible man is capable of such things. So basically, pursue an honest attempt to better things, and when you try something, if it doesn't work, change course, unbiasedly and without hesitation. Don't double down on things that you know are not correct or things that you know are not working. And in a way, I kind of think that this, it's sort of a scientific method approach, but it's a little bit different. I think there are certain things in life that are not quantifiable that you still have to kind of have this approach to. How do you feel? Well, you could rate it on a scale from 1 to 10, but, we don't currently have the technology to be able to break that down into measurable bits, really. So what I believe is that the highest ideal would be to adjust when necessary, to hold on to nothing. Because really, I think people who hold on to ideals or ideas so strictly, they risk entrapping themselves in that kind of thinking. I'd much rather be someone who changes my mind a lot than someone who doesn't change my mind at all. Because ultimately, what's ironic about it is that, let's say you're wrong on something and you change your mind and you say, okay, now I believe this. Now you're right, quote unquote. Well, it's really as if you were never wrong before. Because all that you really control is this moment and the next moment. You can't influence the past. So the most logical approach to life, the most moral and loving approach, is to recognize that and to integrate that into yourself and into your thinking. This idea that it really doesn't matter if it's in politics would be so much better off if it was this way. Just, I don't really care if it's your solution, my solution. Let's just find the right solution. So that's what I believe is the highest ideal that humanity could strive for. And in a way, it's a very self-reflective thing. You can also apply it to things that aren't quantifiable, how you feel and things like that. But you can also apply it to the fact that, in 100 years, you're going to be dead if you're watching this video, probably, barring some sort of huge technological innovation. Okay, in 1,000 years, you're going to be dead. And whatever comes after this, I touched on that in some of my other videos, but whatever comes after this, comes after this. If there's nothing, you're not going to know it. Therefore, the most logical approach is to approach life like it is your only shot. And within that, the fact that this is your only shot, your only known shot, I should say, approaching it with an unbiased love for the truth and an unbiased love for other people who you could have been is the highest moral ideal. I really believe that. So, that's why I think the Constitution, I read the Constitution. I really think the Constitution is a beautiful document. If you're not an American, read the Constitution, one day if you get the chance. I really think it's it's basically reflecting this kind of idea in a way that we shouldn't limit or control others, and we should pursue, a path that allows everyone to explore the full breadth of their consciousness and the deepest depths of their convictions, so long as they're not hurting anybody else. I really believe that's what the document summarizes in much more eloquent words than I'm capable of. make sure to hit the subscribe button. This is my opinion on the highest ideal that humans could achieve.